Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, yo, set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been golden when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the blockchain.
Now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, yo, set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like LeBron James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. The field's not falling for the FOMO. Listening to coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum entities. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I got a shout out
Started
to
off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, yo, set it up.
Freaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in suits. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, mighty, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. I had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. So I had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the ride with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain GM. Thanks so much for joining us. Happy Monday. Hope everyone had a great weekend. I'm Cap, no co-host today, but we do have a special guest. It's Monday, so that means This Week in AI coming up about 9:30. Maybe a special guest. I think Bunch will be joining us, but let's get the kiddo off to school this morning. So either way, we will jump into some AI-related topics around 9:30. Hopefully the legend Bunch you can join us. Love to see our early birds over in the chat this morning. GM, Blockmage, Thomas, Web3 Warhead, Machiavelli, Absolute Zero, Dobbins, Corona, Teacher Katie, Risk Brian, appreciate you all. Teacher Katie is always warming up the abstract chat. Going to talk a little bit about abstract today. Little spice came out Friday after the show, to which I retweeted. Not going to dive deep in it. Not going to beat the dead horse. We need a better analogy for that one. I know that one's probably on par with throwing out the baby with the bathwater, but I digress. Interesting weekend across the board. More World Liberty Fi back and forth. We did have Jamie Dimon come out and basically start pumping crypto, saying it's better than traditional banking rails. So that's interesting. Hope everyone enjoyed all the master enjoyers enjoyed the masters, and yeah, it's going to be a fun week. I think we also had a major bottom signal. We called bottom a while ago, at least here on the show, in the NFT space. NFT bottom is in for our favorite collections. That got confirmed over the weekend. Arguably the best bottom signal. We'll hit on that in a little bit. And I think before we get too serious, though, we had a important cold open material, especially if you're a child of the 80s like myself. We had not all 10,000 are out yet, but a guy in Chicago released. This morning I was listening. I think I have an album here somewhere if I can find it. I know it's here, but I don't know where it's at. Not great TV. So we'll come back to that in a bit. But I was listening to Nirvana this morning, not just Nirvana Unplugged. but way back Unplugged, one of their live shows from 94, I believe. A guy in Chicago, he took his cassette recorder and took it to record live shows back in the early 90s. Long story short, ended up getting over 10,000 live concerts on his cassette tape, and he's now digitizing and put on the internet for free. One of those, this is, let me, I'll pull up an article here real quick, and then we'll jump into any other Fly Over Quote Open topics. And then we will get into all the crypto and Web3 happenings this weekend. This came out of the Book Club Chicago, or Block Club Chicago, excuse me. From earlier Nirvana to Fish, Chicago's fans' secret recordings of 10,000 shows are now online. I think there's about 2,500 shows online. I haven't checked them all out. I just listened to the Nirvana show, and I wasn't familiar with all their early stuff. I mean, this first concert he put on was like 2 years before Nevermind. And there was Polly and trying to think what else. There was at least a couple songs that were on that Nirvana Unplugged in New York album, which I think is I think it's my favorite of all the Nirvana albums is the Unplugged Live in New York. Why did they stop that, by the way? That was a good series, I feel. Nirvana Live at Dreamers in 1989. Holy cows, even earlier than I thought. It was July 8th of 1989. That's crazy. So if you've heard the Unplugged album, you've heard Polly and you've heard About a Girl, two classics that I had no idea they were that early. But yeah, some vintage stuff. If you're an enjoyer of music, go check it out. And also I went from Saturday, I was watching Saturday or Sunday. It must have been Sunday morning. I was watching the Bieber set at Coachella. I went all the way from Bieber back to Nirvana this weekend, and that was my enjoyment of music. They stopped Unplugged when Auto-Tune became popular. Interesting. I wouldn't have guessed the correlation there, but that's per Hizzy in the chat. Once Auto-Tune became a thing, no more Unplugged. I don't know. I think they should bring it back. It was, I enjoyed it much. GM Dort, fire mutant hat there. Speaking of mutants, holy moly. Well, let me first hit on the NFT bottom being in the confirmation that you might have been looking for. And then we will talk a little bit about not just the mutant run up, but all that's happening in that world. If you were around during the 21-22 mania, you are very familiar with this, what was a top signal. And when this person exits markets, get ready for things to send. Steve Aoki, DJ and former NFT influencer. I wonder if Steve knows that Arkham is calling him a former NFT influencer. Just sold 30K of SHIB and ETH, moving his proceeds to Gemini. He still holds 7 Bored Apes that he paid over $800,000 for in 2021. They're now worth 13.8K each. So a couple things. One, it's all good fun, but Aoki did mark the top of almost every collection he bought. And maybe Apes might have been the exception, actually. If he got 7 for 800K, it was not the Pico top. But yeah, he consistently bought the top to point it became a meme. Like people would sell as soon as he bought. Now he is exited. So that's, I say in good fun, nothing against Steve. But it can't help but think like it's impossible for anyone to talk any of the, like, I know Arkham is not like mainstream. It's a trading account, but it's impossible for any of these accounts to talk about NFTs selling, being down, whatever the case may be, without them mentioning apes. Like it happens time and time again. And usually it's like, oh, this person bought an ape for $1 million or 500 grand and it's now 10K. No one ever talks about the minting for $200. No one ever talks about, oh, these CryptoPunks were free and they're now selling for 70K or 100K, or, it is. Yes, it was a mania. Yes, it was a bubble. Everyone recognizes that. They're still up significantly from mint prices. Further, we're seeing new collection after new collection after new collection do really well in 2026. Like it's still a thing. no one's, I shouldn't say no one. No one I know is expecting a collection to mint for free or $200 and rip up to $500,000. Those crazy. We'll probably never see that again. But as far as a mechanism for building a community, building a bootstrap community, identifying rabid brand ambassadors, and the collection's doing well from, I think, probably in the last year, like on the higher end of the success, Good Vibes Club. Shout out to that team. But we've seen several just in 2026 that have been free to close to free mints that are now trading for several $100s. Like, it's not nothing. Not that we've hit every single one on the show, but we've talked about a lot of them. We've interviewed a lot of the founders pre-mint, and they're up from anywhere from Pixel Pups at 0.15 to Gimbos to Death and Taxes and several others that are trading really well. And it seems to be that the Clarity Act's imminent. I know, per the headline, we will talk about some of the the good, the bad, the ugly, more so, unfortunately, the bad and the ugly. And for all the tailwinds our space has with things like the Clarity Act and favorable regulation, it's almost offset, or is offset, by the headwinds from the first family, and from World Liberty Fi to meme coins. It's the headline, which we'll get into in a second. Friday there was back and forth. First we saw it was funny because it was a satire posted from a parody account that I think many people thought it was actually someone who was on the board or on the team at World Liberty Fi. They read it in first person as if it was real, not realizing it was satire. But it was satire from a parody account that was based with a lot of fact. And then so much so that Justin Sun quote tweeted it and gave his side of the story, to which the World Liberty Fi account commented and said, we'll see you in court. I digress. Let me share this tab real quick. You know what? Let's do this. It's hot. It's a Monday morning. Usually we get a little more warm up of some cold open material. Yeah, Dobbin says remembers Steve buying a goblin for like 8 to 9, and they went right down maybe days after he bought. Yeah, it was like I should probably put a list together. I didn't want to attack the guy, but yeah, you could probably put a list together of all the collections that sold off almost within hours, if not days, after him marking the literal top. Mel, hope Noah gets feeling better. The mullet is looking fine. Hopefully he didn't cut his hair and give him the Samson curse, but sending my best. Hope he's back and feeling full strength here in no time. Let's do this. Let's get a daily market update in, and then we will jump into the World Liberty Fi stuff. I mentioned Jamie Dimon, the bullish crypto take, extremely bullish crypto take. There's also some strategy back and forth. Mando had a good tweet, kind of, I shouldn't say dunking on Saylor and strategy, but kind of poking some holes in their model. They're pretty valid. And then again, I don't want to relitigate the whole abstract FUD, but just, and it's not just an abstract thing, but they got to get some of their Discord mods under control. Like I shared over the TMA's post and like valid questions, concerns, and like the I don't know, like ego maybe. It's wild to me that you've got Discord mods, admins, whatever they want their title to be called, that are alienating some of their largest supporters, both vocally and in capital and ecosystem support. It's crazy to me. And now Cygar, in their defense, did step in and said all communication is going to be coming from him from now on. So they finally, I think, have recognized part of the issue there, but still concerning nevertheless. And then some back and forth in those comments. More speculation is, is Igloo selling? Is Luca, Michael Lee and team, do they have 1 foot out the door, 2 feet out the door? It just, I know there's a lot going on, and whether they just empower the team, the abstract team more, and they're stepping back from that front, or they're moving on altogether. I don't know, but real quick, daily market update. This is brought to you by Awaken Tax. Head to awaken.tax, use code coffee50 or return coffee50 to save $50 off your tax prep software. Only 2 days left for you procrastinators. You better get it in or get your extension filed here. And if you need some help getting your return filed, again, awaken.tax, code coffee50 or return coffee50 to save $50 off your Awaken subscription. This is the Daily Market Update.
It's market update time. Let's set the play. Powered by Awaken, the smart tax way. From crypto flips to DeFi stacks. They keep it clean. Got your back. Grab your coffee. Let's break it down. Daily update. Right now.
We're going to start with majors, and then we'll head into back to those NFTs. But looking at, I do have one quick question, because I'm in Telegram, but I'm not a Telegram. I definitely not mastered. I use Telegram for maybe like 5% of what you could. It's like a group chat for me that is mostly used for business development. How do you mute Telegram? And maybe it's just as simple as like my phone number. And it's not even my phone number, because it's coming through not my phone. It's coming through my computer. How do you mute all Telegram calls? I'm sure it's just a simple setting or feature, but I have someone trying to show me something, sell me something, and they continue call. And I just, space hosts know I mute my phone when I host the space, but I got someone that keeps popping in my calling me, and it interrupts just like a phone call does on iMessage, but it is coming from Telegram. How do I mute that? I go check the settings after the show, but if anyone knows quickly, just so I can make sure we don't get an interruption, I would appreciate it. Let me know in the chat. Looking at majors, slightly down on the day, kind of a chop, but still up on the week. Bitcoin holding 70K, just under 71 at 70,964, down 0.61 on the day. ETH down 0.79 to 2186. BNB down up actually 0.47 to 597. XRP down 0.4. Solana down 0.23. Tron basically flat. Hyperliquid, the winner on the day, comes out. Jeff turned down $100 million at a 1 billion FDV. Continues to be just a bootstrapped, potentially the most profitable business on the planet per employee. I think 11 employees generated $900 million last year. Pretty impressive. Up 3% on the day, 12% on the week. And once again, I'm kicking myself for not opening the Hyperliquid long last week when I said I was going to. Got shaken out by the quote unquote whale who unstaked millions in Hyperliquid. Didn't matter. Number continues to go up. Congrats to all the Hyperliquid enjoyers. I think this is also maybe the first time it's cracked the top 10. If I'm not mistaken, usually I got to get on to 11 or 12. I think it just, for the first time ever, cracked top 10 in market cap at now 10 billion 690. It would have had to have been top 10 previously on its run-ups, because I know 41 isn't on its high, but I don't remember it being in the top 10. I could just be mistaken there. Heading over that's majors though today. Again, pretty choppy across the board. We aren't necessarily going to get into blockades on top of blockades, although for the Star Wars fans out there, I don't know, man. If we are in a simulation, it's being proved out in real time. We've got blockades on top of blockades, which, if you're not familiar, was the episode 1 plot line, was the blockade on top of the blockade, and May the 4th is 2-3 weeks away. So I don't know what it means, but it is. It's like, what do they say? Life imitates art. Is that the right saying? I don't know. Anyways, probably not going to go there. But in other news, it's absolutely going to impact markets. The U.S. has put a blockade on Iran's blockade, basically doubling down on you don't want to let oil through the strait. Okay, we'll not let any oil through the strait. And all these oil carriers have rerouted to the Gulf and are getting U.S. oil, apparently, per the maps and the data seen on this app. Oil's still up-ish, but I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see how this stuff plays out. I hope the end is near, and I still think majors and NFTs could run in pockets, but I think everything kind of will continue to chop until we get some sort of some sort of certainty right now that, while fear and greed climbing a little bit, fear and certainty remains uncertain on that global index. And it's hard to see things really ripping. I do think things are setting up for a ripper if all the cards fall right. Very well could go the other direction. But if the cards fall right, I think things could really take off. Looking at NFT, speaking of really taking off, I don't know what happened to Ringa. I don't know if there was a sweep. I didn't double tap on this, but up 124% of the day to 0.09 ETH was some of my favorite art. Hold one of those Ringa samurais in my vault. Was a fan of the art. Candidly did intend to sell that. I had it listed at one point in like the rare the tier, like the samurai tier, close to the floor. Should have discounted it just a little bit, and I think it probably would have sold for a couple ETH back in the day. But love to see the bounce. Whether it stays or not, who knows? I would urge caution if you're chasing any of these pumps. Maybe the exception might be mutants. I do think at 1.1, if that team continues to ship the in real life events as they are, the clubhouse seemingly is imminent for 2026 opening, or at least more announcements. If you're into that sort of thing, if you want a social club that's digital and does a lot of in real life meetups, both from supported by Yuga and the community, I don't know. I really truly believe you'd be hard pressed to find that for 1.1 ETH, or convert that to, call it $2,500 for a lifetime pass. You're not going to find it. I don't believe, with the quality of people that you can interact with at these meetups. Several will be hanging out at Snoop's compound in Inglewood next. So the 420 is a week from today. I think it's next Sunday. Next Saturday or Sunday is the actual event. Registration for that, if you're interested, it does close today, I believe. I'm not sure the time. But speaking of new mints, we'll pin it up top here in a bit. The Mimos, we talked briefly on Friday. That collection's another free mint that if you hold any of those Ape Chain collections, you probably can mint that for free. Last time we talked about a free mint coming out of that community was those Pixel Pups, and it is, I think, still trading at like a 0.1-ish something floor. 0.14, up another 40% on the day. Pretty impressive. Gimbos has pulled back a little bit, 1889 Ape, but again, that was minted for like 360. Meebits flat 0.32. Moonbirds down 2% to 0.9. Normies up once again to 3.3. They're now a 0.15 floor. VFriends 1.42. I saw our guy Jack GK giving Gary and VFriends some love. Said he saw the VFriends comic on the bus, the Disney buses at Disney. Pretty cool, and just continues to build. Like, never hasn't wavered. Continued to stick to the plan, and love to see the success. Very, very hard to build new IP. But he's certainly going for it. And of all things, it's funny because VFriends, like, I think it was an interview with maybe Nick O'Neill and Clemente. I'm guessing Pio might have been there as well. I just saw a clip, and they're saying how no one in the space cares or talks about VFriends, despite them having, by all intents and purposes, success, at least in terms of getting the word out there, getting the brand out there, growing outside of crypto and Web3, and just rarely talked about amongst the crypto world, which, I don't know. Like, it's also interesting to see where a lot of the crypto commentators have pivoted to. Some AI, some prediction markets, some quote unquote maxing other genres, I guess. Back to the market update though. Azuki down 1% to 0.78. Ringa, as we mentioned, the big winner on the day, up 124% to 0.09. Little Pudgies flat at 0.45. Grifters flat at 15.95. X copy. There was a couple X copies sold into some WETH bids. Floor still holding strong at 16.35, down 3%. Apes are flat at 6.35. Pudgies down 2.5% to 4.03. Hypers down 1% to 3.96. It was a big hyper sweep, and there was a big what was the other big sweep? Oh, not a sweep, but Adam Weitzman bought a couple hundred more other deeds. He does those OTC, so I don't think it necessarily moves the floor per se, but continues to double down. He now holds like 8%, over 8% of the deed collection, I do believe. Punks 27.65, up 0.6% of the day. We mentioned mutants continue to run up. They're up another 5% to 1.1. And that is our daily market update, brought to you by Awaken Tax. Head to awaken.tax, use code coffee50 or return coffee50 to save $50 off that tax prep software. Also, Quirky's up another, it's 0.7. I thought it was 7% at first, but 0.7, 1.14, continuing. Poppy and team continues to surge there. We saw Inks highlighted here along with Chimpers and Wreck Guy. Not sure what Parallel Haven is. Is that a new avatar from Parallel? Is that the original? Looks like a new one. Wasn't familiar with this. Haven't heard Parallel mentioned in a while. Inks, as we talked about, part of that, that new Quirky's collection, redid the art. I believe 0.128 is the floor on that. After some nice volume, and I'm sure that Quirky's will once again be popping on the royalty report when we get to that tomorrow. Okay. Hard pivoting back into, in Jeff we trust for sure. I'd love to see more moving like Jeff in the space. For every World Liberty Fi I shouldn't say for everyone. At least we have a Jeff for the World Liberty Fi out there, who has just, I don't want to say not made any wrong moves, but has made many right ones for sure. And the performance of not just the token, but their platform, the volume they've done, and doing so without VCs is pretty impressive. And I would love to see more of that, mainly because I think that's part of the benefits and part of the perks of what crypto provides. And I'm hopeful that we can see more of that in the future, especially as we see some of this regulation come out, is fundraising by, thank you, Poppy. So it's just settings, privacy, calls. I'm going to change that now just so he doesn't try to power through again. I do think that there could and should be more fundraising efforts. Like, you don't need to go raise $100 million to launch a startup. I mean, maybe with some you do. If you're trying to fly rockets, or build an AI LLM, you need hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. Most, $1 million, you're off to the running. Like, and hopefully you can reach profitability to the point where you're able to, sorry, I'm just trying to get this. Who can call me? I guess I'm going to say my contacts. That should do it for now. I guess if I want a contact to call me, they can. I'll come back later, but at least that'll prevent them from calling during the show. Thanks, Poppy. Appreciate it. That's real-time troubleshooting. Someone who's, I don't know if they're trying to sell me. I should probably look now. Gary got it as well. How to disable calls. Thank you very much. Yeah, you can mute individuals. I just want to turn it off. Don't do that, please. Like, if you're trying to sell someone something, the quickest way to not get a customer is to attempt to spam call them while they're hosting a show. If you're new here, I do this every Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern time from 8 to 10. I'm unavailable. And if you want to find out how to get blocked quickly, try to call me during a show, unsolicited. And we also have, no offense to Poppy or Gary. Poppy just knew. Gary got it from Grok. Drew, our in-house security guru, has believe it or not, a full thread on Telegram security settings, and this will be my homework after the show. I pinned that up top for anyone else who's been running fast and loose in the Telegram streets. Probably lock down your stuff a little better. And while we're talking about companies who haven't raised hundreds of millions of dollars and killing it, BZ, I do agree. Grateful, not paying me to say this. I am grateful for the badge and them supporting our community member of the month with a BZ claw pool and coffee with Captain every Friday. But I don't make a dime off that. That is just, I guess maybe indirectly I make a dime off the badge because it helps my reach a little bit. But we're 100% of what they contribute. It goes to our audience by way of coffee with Captain. And I am grateful for that. BZ has raised, but yet I still believe, Joey, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure like single digit millions. Like they've raised 7 figures, not even 8. They're under 10 million for pretty certain of that. I would guess between VCs and their Echo sale, like somewhere between 1 to 5 million is my guess. You don't need to comment if it's not public, but BZ is absolutely crushing it. And it started with their, they launched as, I'm old enough to remember it being called the Courtyard. Or no, not Courtyard, excuse me. Oh man. I just saw this the other day too. Now I'm drawing a blank. It's Monday morning. I haven't had enough coffee. Colony. I knew it was a C word. They launched as the Colony on Blast during the Blast gold farming era and had a lot of success over there. But then I think Blast kind of let a lot of people down, and people bailed post TGE. They then migrated to Flow and had success there. Then went multi-chain with Base and have been just stacking record month after record month after record month, riding the, yes, it was the Colony. Thanks, Katie. Anyways, a lot of brands have been able to raise here by way of community support, whether it be an NFT mint or just simply bootstrapping. And yet now we do have things like Echo, which got acquired by Coinbase. There is a path towards raising funds via public sale of tokens or NFTs and not being a security. It's not just that cut and dry, but there is a path to that. And I think that's part of what, not for all. I know a lot of people came into NFTs just because they saw it as a quick opportunity to buy and flip. Nothing wrong with those who did that. You saw an opportunity in the market and people came in, made a lot of money and went on to the new shiny toys. That said, I think there was other people who saw, man, it's startup capital, it's bootstrap funds, call it friends and family if you want. And in the end, I think is where a lot of people miss it. It's like, look at Rec Drinks, which is launching. Now I'm not, is this the UK Waitrose? I'm not familiar. It's not a, if it is in the US, it's not in, it is not in the Southeast. So I'm not familiar with Waitrose. I think it is just a, maybe London-based. Rect is taking over Canary Wharf Waitrose for the whole of next week with OpenSea. Pop by the Rec stand Monday through Saturday. Join us for a special pub session at Pergola on Thursday. They've got the Wharf takeover and then getting wrecked at Pergola. London. Okay. So it is in the UK. Thank you all. So, this is, I think, a great example of one who not only is, I say this as I'm thinking through, I don't think they have, maybe they have a small round as well, similar to Beezy, like in the 7-figure range. They might have done a small, like, seed-esque raise, but they started as a free NFT mint with RecGuy NFTs. They then would later gift equity to those NFT holders. Then they would drop a Rec coin, a brand token, to which they held back a large percentage to use as essentially their marketing budget. So I don't know where it sits today. At one point, it was like $50 million as the token ran up. Today, it might be like $10 million. But a $10 million marketing budget for a startup is huge. And further, it's not just the capital raise. It's, look at the brand ambassadors they have. Pudgy was probably the first to do this with a DC direct-to-consumer product, or in their case, not even direct-to-consumer. They went into national retail with their plushies and toys at Walmart, and those things sold out quickly. Pudgy also does do direct-consumer with their more limited drops, and everyone sells out, not, I shouldn't say everyone, most sell out in minutes. I think from my perspective, every drop they've done has been a successful one. I think one that's probably met or exceeded their expectations. And then they also get like the Google reviews, the Amazon reviews, like, because these aren't just, it's like launching a startup, launching a new product with, I don't know, thousands of loyal brand ambassadors. You like, the closest thing I could relate this to is, I'm trying to think of a better example because I know the Pauls are kind of a controversial figures, but Mr. Beast with Feastables, he launched a new product and had instant success, gained deals with Walmart and got crazy distribution. That doesn't happen if he doesn't have the distribution he has. So these content creators did it by making videos for years. I just saw a clip this morning, and again, I am not normally one that references the Pauls often on the show, but I don't even know which one it was. Logan maybe was talking about how he made videos for 8 years before anyone cared. So grinded his way to a career as a content creator, and years later, he would partner up with other big content creators and launch Prime, the drinks, and massive success in a very competitive space. Rec Drinks, has went a similar route, but instead of having loyal fans of their videos, I'm not saying they don't have fans of their content they put out. They do their rec show, I think, weekly, and blog and stuff. But really, it's their rabid fan base is not because of any content. And OSF's great. We'll get him on the show this week as well. It's actually a reminder to follow up with him and lock down a day at a time. He's great. He's a great content. He's a great speaker. He's a great front person for that company. But they don't have a loyal base of consumers because of their content. They have a loyal base of consumers because of their NFTs and their brand coin. And they built in this space. And I think that's what so many people miss is it's funding and the and is really important. And you go back to VFriends, like Gary kind of did both worlds. He did it first as the content creator, built a loyal fan base, then launched an NFT collection, brought a lot of those fans into crypto, many of which are still here today, some of which are still loyal VFriends community members. Others might have sold their VFriend and moved on, or maybe they still hold a VFriend, or maybe they're still they're still in that community ecosystem, but they introduced them to NFTs, and they ultimately found another community, another home that became like their main home base. And Gary has continued to build a brand leveraging that. I think it is, I'm guessing that even though Gary had the base of fans prior to NFTs, I think you find some that they feel more vested. I am a fan, like a legitimate fan of the Rect Energy, more so than the sparkling water, because, well, the sparkling water is fine. It's good. I personally, if I'm just keeping it real, now I've bought some because I bought many of their drops because I get Rec Coin in return. So it's a good loyalty rewards program. It makes sense. And it's a brand I want to support. But the reality is, if I see it on a shelf at a supermarket, I'm not buying it because it's got 5 grams of sugar and 30 calories. And I don't drink sugar in my sparkling water. It's just me. Now, on the flip side, their Rect Energy checks all the boxes what I look for. It's as good, if not better, than other pre-workout I've had. And oh, by the way, after claiming 140 million, Rec Coin and getting what, call it 50% back, is like $19.27 on a $40 purchase. You can't find 30 servings of a high quality, clean energy, pre-workout like that for $20. You can't. I've been taking this stuff for years, and it's really good. So they're building good product. They have a loyal fan base, and that loyal fan base helps them, hit the ground running. It helps them come out of the gate strong and builds momentum. I don't know if this hits or not. You guys tell me. Circling back to my question earlier, like, can we still say beat a dead horse? Comtrinity, who, by the way, if you talk about community members, there's Clippers out there, and then there's Comtrinity, who almost every show drops a banger piece of art that is specific to the show. Not just me at my PFP, but he'll bring in and tie in some other guest speaker. Really well done. Appreciate you, Comtrinity, and all you bring to the Coffee with Captain community. He says, instead of beat a dead horse, call it pet a red horse. I don't know if that hits. And then instead of throw the baby out with the bathwater, toss the veggies out with the scraps. I appreciate the effort. I'm not sure it quite lands. It doesn't quite have the same. This doesn't quite hit the same. Now, you also make me think about, how do these sayings become sayings? Like, clearly no one was ever actually throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Like, that never actually happened. I don't think people are actually beating dead horses. It's like, how do these sayings become sayings that stick, presumably for hundreds of years? It is probably much more a quote open material type topic, but yeah. Anyways, I digress. Trying to get myself back on track here after eat a dead horse. That sounds even worse. Wrecked might be the reward that gets cashed out instead of the coin that pumps. Maybe. Yeah, Waitrose is a supermarket poet, babe. like we've seen it. The thing is, we've seen the rewards drop before, and there hasn't been a massive sell-off. Or if they have, it's not been material enough. So I think how they went about it and strategically, it's not come all at once. And it is a little bit of a process, albeit with this has been the most seamless one with the energy drinks and this little card that has a QR code on. I've already claimed this one, so I can show you. There's just like, this is the back of it. It's scan the QR code to claim, or go to rec.com and enter the code. Now this one again has been claimed, so it won't work. But I didn't even have to go to rec.com. I literally scanned the QR code. Didn't have to authenticate anything. I guess I was logged into my base app. And so I scanned the code, and within seconds, I want to say like within 3 seconds, there was 140 million rec coin deposited in my base app. Pretty impressive. Like, actually easier than any traditional loyalty program. Like, true example, I shop at Publix. I live in Florida, and Publix is like the main supermarket. Like, so I go Publix, Detweiler's, which is very localized, but it's, I don't know, maybe like 5 locations, and they've got just really good produce, really good meat, and it's like, think of it's like a farmer's market, but it is actually a supermarket. I mean, it's called Detweiler's Farm Market, but they have I'm looking now. I can't find how many locations, but the butcher shop's awesome. It is crazy busy, like crazy busy anytime you go. And it's just like, it's like an old school supermarket. I feel it's what I feel like supermarkets probably were in like the 1980s. Looks like they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 locations along the Gulf Coast, from south of Tampa down to just like the Venice area, which is south of Sarasota. Anyways, I do Detweiler's, I do Publix, and I do Costco. Publix has a loyalty program. I've been shopping at Publix for 6 years. I mean, minus like a trip, vacation to Florida, I might go to Publix to get food for the week or something. But like actually going on a weekly basis to Publix has been 6 years. I put my phone number in every time. True story, I've not got a single reward. Now I'm probably eligible for rewards, but I also did download their app. Last time I saw they had, $5 off your next visit. And I attempted to download the app, and it glitched and something happened. And my point, landing the plane here, is Publix, are they publicly traded? If not publicly traded, they are a massive supermarket chain, like hundreds and hundreds. No, they're not publicly traded. It's a private company. But wait, so not traded on public stock exchange. But shares are available for purchase by eligible employees and board members. Share price is $20, determined by a board-appointed valuation. That's interesting. It's owned by the employees and the family of the founder, George Jenkins. It is, so not public, but employees and family members obviously hold the stock. Anyways, my point being, large established company, and they have 1,444 stores across the Southeast, nearly around 900 of those in Florida alone. Huge company. And to claim $20 from RecCoin took 3 seconds, literal 3 seconds, scanned a QR code and got it claimed. To claim $5 for Publix, I gave up. It was just too hard. I tried a few times, it just couldn't work. I just moved on. It wasn't worth my time to continue to waste for a $5 claim. If I saw $5 on the sidewalk, I absolutely pick it up, but I'm not going to spend hours trying to hunt down $5. That said, because I've purchased, I don't know, Jesus, at this point, it's got to be 5 figures. I know I was going to say 6 figures of groceries in 6 years. That's probably too much, but it's got to be 5 figures of groceries. I should have something. I don't know. So point is all together, not only is crypto building on chain, there an opportunity to raise capital, to raise startup funds. It's a non-family way to raise friends and family capital. You're selling something, but you're not going to, with most startups, You're not going to create a product and sell hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars of said product at the jump without pre-launch. Most time here, with whether it be NFTs or a token, many times teams have been able to do it before the product even launches. It's just not going to happen in the traditional world. You're going to have to, most likely have beyond a prototype. Could you do a pre-order of something? Yeah, you can. You see things like Kickstarter and whatnot, but even like recently, there was a glass and steel non-plastic coffee brewer made by a former employee of SpaceX, and he was doing pre-orders, but no money, like not taking any money up front, just basically like, let me know you're interested by filling out this form and saying you're going to. I'm sorry, I'm distracted once again by Zonko today. I have to go back because this was cold open. I was going to go here and cold open, and I actually completely forgot about it. But my other weekend activity, it was Justin Bieber, Nirvana, and I kid you not, Zonko, I listened to an entire podcast about the Byzantine Empire. Can't make this stuff up. He says, I was curious the other day and checked. We've been saying win in Rome since 300 AD. Crazy. Thought it was a 1900s expression for sure. I went down the Byzantine Empire rabbit hole this past weekend. I don't even remember how I got onto it. Actually, I do. So I used to listen to Lex Friedman. I've kind of like checked out. I haven't listened for a while. He lost his motion. He does a great interview. I don't know what it was, but I went from listening to almost every episode he put out, very long form, to like, unless there's like a guest I really want to hear from, he's out of my rotation. Anyways, I burnt through all my podcasts in my Apple Podcast, and it just started auto playing a Lex Friedman podcast, which was this guy. I need to properly credit. So anyways, it was this guy who is a historian, and Lars Brownworth was on Lex, and I heard him on Lex, and I just found him interesting. And he had one of the very first podcast series, maybe the first one ever on history. And it was this 12 Byzantine rulers. So there's like 12 episodes, each one's on a different Byzantine ruler. And that was I can't believe how big of a dork I'm coming out as this morning. That's what I did this weekend, guys. I sat up by the pool and binge listened to a history podcast. I'm not gonna say I need to do just some drugs or something, but I need to do something to feel like I'm not like a 60-year-old man listening to history. Like, I say that 60's not being fair. My dad was big into history, and like he was like a Jeopardy wizard, and just like he was one, like you could watch you'd sit down and watch an episode of Jeopardy and he might miss one question. Like, he wasn't like, I mean, he was probably like a CD student in high school, didn't go to college, just was a great guy and got really into history and things like History Channel and Discovery. And so like over the years, like self-taught, this is like, and this, he passed away when I was 23. So like 2003. So this is like really before the internet. Like the internet had just started becoming a thing near the end of his life. So like he didn't like teach himself like with YouTube. It was like the History Channel and books and encyclopedias. And anyways, he was one that you'd sit down and unbelievable. Mayhem says, we listened to the same Byzantine pod this weekend. Did you get directed there by the Lex interview as well, Mayhem? You had to be. Like, there's just, otherwise the coincidence of us both listening to a podcast series that dropped in like 2004 is when this thing came out. I'll go check when it actually came out, but it was super, super early. Because it's history, it's still maybe I'm not old anymore. Everyone is doubling down in the war room. Phonics and Mayhem are supporting my 2009. So it wasn't 2009 was some of the later ones. It did start in 2005. So 2005 was when this thing came out, and it was good. Like, I really enjoyed it. And it's like, they say history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. It's like we probably could learn a lot about the fall of some of these incredible empires. We're at their peak. it looked, I mean, they were ruling the world, and like there was no sign of them ever relinquishing that power. Anyways, yeah, episode 1 was in 2005, and it goes all the way through. The last one was in 2009, but that was a teaser for another podcast. And reading, like, the conclusion came in January of 2008, 17 episodes. He said he found it by the Flagrant podcast. Really, what is going on? Why is everyone turning us on to the Byzantine Empire? What are we missing? Like Lex and Flagrant both talking about this guy Lars. Where's the main page? I gotta go back. This is it. Lars Brownworth. Again, one of the, maybe I'm not sure, but might have been one of the first, if not the first, history podcasts on podcasts, and still holds to this day. Anyways, I need someone up running my brain. I'm off. I'm way off the rails. How did I get on the Byzantine Empire? I don't know. Oh, Zonko. I'm blaming Zonko for that one, for talking about the Roman Empire in the chat, and reminding me of my my weekend. Yeah. I think this might be triggering like some sort of midlife crisis. Actually, this realization I'm coming to, that this is what I've become. Is, yep. I did start watching Hacks, the series Hacks. There's new series, new season. So I went back and started watching that and try to make me a little cooler or younger. But yeah, now all day I'm going to be thinking about the Byzantine Empire. So we've moved on from the Roman Empire. We're now talking about the Byzantine Empire. Actually thought Outer will be joining us tomorrow. And as I was listening to this podcast, I didn't do it. I didn't head to the computer or the Xbox, but I was this close to downloading Age of Empires 2, and playing some Empire games. Yeah. Where was I going when I got distracted by Zonko's Roman Empire take? I need some help getting back on track. Between the War Room and the Byzantine Empire, I've been distracted. I will say this, Dunk Cookie. I believe if you're looking for your dog that goes with the ape you have, it's the ID number. It's the token ID is what the same, your doggo token ID will match the one that came with the ape. They were 1-to-1. So like I actually don't have. I sold the dog that came with my PFP because another dog I got for another ape I owned at the time, it had rocket launchers and was just a much cooler dog, and so I kept that one. But yeah, it's a 1-to-1 match. So if you have ape 6969, the doggo that went with that, the full set, if you will, went with, it would be doggo 6969. That said, some people went in, like if they had a cheetah ape, they went and got a cheetah looking dog to match, and they would call that a full set. So it's really personal preference and what a collector wants to collect. Maybe you go both. Maybe you find a matching dog. Like if you had a trippy dog or trippy ape, and you wanted to find a trippy dog. Like some people did that because it wasn't it wasn't like mutants, where with mutants your traits carried through, and like there was an M1 and an M2 trait that matched your ape trait. It was not like that with the dogs. The dogs was one of the first. The dogs were very quick, very soon after mint, and maybe one of the first airdrops. Speaking history, not all the way back to the Byzantine Empire, but our Byzantine Empire, also known as the NFT mania of 2021. I do think might have been the first airdrop. Might have been the first time an NFT collection airdropped another NFT. And when Yuga did it, there was royalties, yet those royalties, at least for like the first 6 weeks, all went to a charity. They went to I think 2 or 3 different dog charities. It ended up being several $100,000, but I believe both those were a first. And yeah, I'm not certain on that. There could have been other airdrops prior to that, but I think that was the first. And so it was very soon after launch. they were shipping. Dogs were a claim. I don't know if they were a claim. I think they might have just been airdropped. I don't remember if they were a claim or an airdrop, but it was. My point being there was no trait match. So if you're looking for one that matches your traits, it probably doesn't match your token number. But the full set, most people would say, is the token IDs matching on the dog, and then with your ape and your mutant, those token IDs are not going to match. So not to further confuse you, but I see Proof Alpha DJ come up. Am I misspeaking on any of the doggo stuff there, or?
No, man, you're hitting and knocking it out the park. And I'm sitting here like saying, yes, you are dead on. And why did they do that? Because I started looking for mine. I was so confused. I was looking for my doggo, and I was like, well, I see hats, I see this and that. And I kept seeing others in their collection have the actual token ID. So I went and looked at the token ID, and I was like, oh, I'm so confused now. So, yeah, man, that's good to get that out there, because it was definitely an elephant in the room for me all the time. And I was like, why did y'all do this like this, Yuga? And then the mutants, too. So, of course, my ape is still virgin. Of course, right? Of course, my ape is like the 40-year-old virgin right now. So there's no mutant for him. But I'm like, man, I'm just wondering if I drink the serum, what is this guy going to look like? So, yeah, man, I'm all over the place with that. Glad you brought that up.
Yeah, and I think like why they didn't do like a specific trait match was just so early. Like I don't know if they gave probably would have been hard, and it was just like weeks after. I want to say like 6 weeks after mint, they were just sprinting. They were shipping left and right, and it was just a fun thing to do. And I don't think they ever. This is pretty sure before War on the Floor, before like it was. Yeah, and take me back, and it wasn't a. It was actually, I think, TMA, who was out there a little bit ago. Oh, TMA's still out there. Was talking about like, man, what it must have been like, and it was such a fun time, and it wasn't just did friends get rich and make 6-7 figures in a matter of months that was never expected in this space. Yes, but it was just even. I think the most fun, like candidly, the most fun I had was before it got crazy. The most fun I had on the internet, period, not even just in crypto. The most fun I've ever had on the internet would have been from January of 21 through November. We'll say through the first Ape Fest. I don't know when things started getting crazy, but if I vividly remember walking the alleys of the first Ape Fest with Steve and Everyday John, maybe Von Frunten, were you there? We're walking the alley after the first Ape Fest and talking how underpriced mutants were. And they might have been 3 ETH at the time. And we're just like, this was such a fun week, such a fun Ape Fest. There's no way that they don't run in this market, because it's just, I didn't take advantage of it. I didn't go buy anymore. I should have at the time. But and then I think they eventually, they would run up from there from 3 ETH to 40, 50 ETH, whatever their all-time high was. So yes, the prices had ran up. It was, people had already gotten quote unquote, I guess, rich by then by some accounts. But most people that had gotten rich, it wasn't off of just apes yet at that point. It was the space had popped off. They had traded the you could caught lightning in a bottle, and they were just crushing it, like every move. They were shipping so frequently, and so many others were following suit. And then so it created such hype and speculation in the space at large that you were literally throwing spaghetti at the wall, and you meant something. And like two personal examples. This is, I think, August of 21. So before Ape Fest 1 was, in that month alone, on a lunch break, I saw Dom, who has done several other projects, but he was the creator of Loot. It was a free mint, and they were just these words that was like Dungeon and Dragon type. You got these traits in on your Loot card, but there wasn't a minting site. Like you had to mint on contract, was the only way to do it. And it wasn't you had to find ones that hadn't been minted. So like this was me, like we were learning new. There was so many of us that were learning in real time. I think like the Jenkins mint, and we all, it's what created the NFT war room, is we all came together and we learned how to mint on contract the first time, because the front end site for Jenkins, it crashed because it was so hyped. And so we ended up finding our way to mint there. And and a lot of people did well on that. But then the lootment was minting on contract, and you had to find what tokens hadn't been minted. It's like I went to Etherscan and found out how to export a CSV that showed which tokens had minted and which ones hadn't. And I only was able to mint like 4 more, but those things turned in, they ramped like 20, 25 ETH. And then a few weeks later, we got an AGLD airdrop, a token airdrop that was, I remember at one point, and I sold a lot, I didn't sell it all, but I ended up having like, I don't know, 70 grand worth of this token that was airdropped for holding a couple of these NFTs. And that was it was a 6-figure lunch break. I was still working in corporate America at the time, and it was between Zoom meetings and lunch break, just fooling around minting things on contract, and weeks later they ran up to 20 ETH. There was Tom Sachs was an acclaimed artist. He had a mint that was rather more expensive than some of the others at the time, but I minted a few and saw that there was a Tiffany's rocket, and I had 2 of 3. And so I sold one, bought the 3rd Tiffany's one, and I listed it as a bundle, and listed the bundle for, I don't know what ETH was the point. I listed the bundle for over 20,000 USD, thinking that this is never going to sell, because the floor was maybe I think they minted for, I think you mint a 3-pack for like 0.2 ETH, and floor was probably like 0.2, maybe like 0.5 when I went to sleep. And I wake up and the bundle had sold within 24 hours. I go from a 0.2 mint over 20K, and I was like, oh, I screwed up. Think about that. That's how crazy things were. Is you could have a $20,000 flip in 24 hours, less than 24 hours, and feel like you messed up because things were just running so crazy at the time. So yes, it was, and part of it was the community. Many people in the Bored Ape Yacht Club community. I mean, a lot of our OG War Room members, which became our home base for many of us, we met in the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and we created this sub community from there. And it was just there was alpha everywhere. And if you were paying attention, if you were active, it was you would throw spaghetti at the wall, and 90% of it would stick. And not just stick, it would be like 100x, 1000x. It was crazy. So yes, people made money who were early to apes and punks, but I think it was more so the mania that ensued. We were in position because of the alpha that we got from our friends, and then also not just airdrops, third-party airdrops were rampant. If you held an ape, any new collection, they wanted you to get that community in the ecosystem, and you would get, I don't know, Botto. I got 4 or 5 figures worth of Botto claims for holding mints. You got the Step and Shoes airdrop to apes that were at peak selling for 3+ ETH when ETH was 3K. There was so much of that, where even people who round trip an ape, or some of these celebrities who might have bought an ape at the top, were they down on their ape purchase? Maybe. I guess if they bought the top, yeah, they're down. But there's still people who might have bought an ape at the top that still are up on that purchase, because what followed the Pico top was an ApeCoin drop that was 6 figures, $250,000 to be exact. If you because we knew they had several things when they launched, when they had TGE, but the big thing was speculation of heading to the other deeds mint. And then when they announced the other deeds mint, and we all knew that it was going to sell off. Most of us knew it was going to sell off. Even those that knew, it was still, in that moment of euphoria. I only sold 20% of my bag at the top. I sold more and did fine. But, that was the first time I learned that if you're taking screenshots, it's time to take profit. I took a screenshot when my ApeCoin drop was over 500K and sent it to my brother, and only sold 20% of it. Only. So I only got a 6-figure airdrop, and instead of a $500,000 one. And I never even, I could go back and add up what it eventually, it might've been $250,000 when it was all said and done, but it could have been 500K at the top had I sold it all, knowing that it was going to sell off following other deeds. But it wasn't just the ApeCoin TGE. It was so many other third-party airdrops. And then you had Dookie Dash. Those Dookie passes sold for 10 ETH at the top if you had an ape one. There was just so much happening. But I think what was so fun wasn't just number going up. We talked about this weekend, PvP coming back. And I think is actually Anon, I think, had a good point, on the whole PvP thing is it is fun. It does drive, excitement and people, it creates friendly competition. Where it falls off, and this might lead us into the next topic, is when the teams start participating. And I think in looking back, that's one thing that Yugen, I don't remember them ever doing. Yuga didn't do it. The founders never did it. But yet the community, the war on the floor was a thing. That was breaking over a 1 ETH floor for the first time, was a big deal. There was like literal pandemonium around that, going over 1 ETH for the first time. And then the whole flipping punks thing was a lot of back and forth. It was a lot of fun. I don't remember Gordon or Garga ever dunking on punks or ever talking bad about punks. And I do. I think that it's the PvP nature, that like the friendly competition was fun. And where I think it got a little over the top was when we started seeing other founders start attempting to dunk on other ecosystems or take shots on other ecosystems. And that, I think, took it a little too far, and it became a little, I don't know if cutthroat's the right word, but it was a different PvP. I say like, hey, we're all, if you're holding an NFT and you're here and you're active in the space, we have a lot more in common than we don't have in common. And it really is, I don't want to say us versus the world, but like we shouldn't be tearing each other down. Like we should be working, supporting each other. All that being said, you can still have a little fun. You can still be competitive. And so like lately, I've seen a couple of people with takes that apes are flipping punks this cycle. I think it might. Why? Because I saw it happen before. And just like everyone's gonna say you're crazy, apes are gonna flip punks. People said the exact same thing last time. Back to the Byzantine Empire, like history may not repeat itself, but it certainly rhymes. And if something's happened before, why couldn't it happen again? I was trying to find the actual.
Because Beanie said it, it's going to happen. If Beanie wouldn't have said it, then we're doomed. Beanie said it, it's destined.
Maybe. I mean, the guy's been right about a lot of things. He's been wrong sometimes too. And I know, speaking of controversial characters, but I was looking for a specific quote, but a specific quote tweet, but my Twitter search still sucks. Anyways, point is, PvP can be a fun thing. It doesn't have to be cutthroat, especially when it's communities having fun. And it's not all a floor price. It's like, I'm trying to think how this isn't coming out as I fully intend, and I don't want to be taken out of context. I don't want to be taken the wrong way, because it can go too far. It can be not fun, but it's just like friendly, fun competition. It is just that. It is fun, and it does create momentum. It gives you, like, it's why do people wear sports jerseys? I mean, they like rooting for their teams. These NFTs, it's like a sports team. I'm gonna have to switch my topic and stop searching for this post I was searching for, because I'm just not finding it. It's near certain I liked it, but it's not even showing up in my likes. Got it. So there was a few. I think Crypto Journey and I says if apes flip punks, I'll eat my own poop. And I said, we might just see a war on the floor 2.0, to which Anon says, NFT rivalries are good for the space, just not when the teams feed into it and make it actual PvP. That I agree with. Like, good for the space as long as it's community v community, not founders punching down or, trying to take advantage.
Community members eating their own poop.
Yeah, don't do that. Like, and I wouldn't even put that out there, because anything is possible in this space, especially something that's happened before. Very, very well likely could happen again, unless, I don't know. I guess people are into that, but anyways, I digress. A few things I did want to hit on before our Week in AI special guest, Bunchy, joins us here. The see you in court thing. there was actually a couple of new World Liberty Fi takes came out. So we're going to go from see you in court, and we're going to back it down a little bit to abstract. I don't want to say abstract FUD, abstract critique, and get your mods, your admins under control, which seemingly they have. I saw Cygar came out and responded to TMA and his thread, which I reposted on Friday. But because this conversation did take place Friday after the show, was Friday, carried on a little bit into the weekend. I do want to go back to that. Before we go back to that, I want to at least hit on this. We don't have to spend a whole lot of time, and I know it's kind of like a downer of a topic. It's like the exact opposite of what was taking place in 2021, 22. But this Peter Gearness, who it's a satire account. It's a parody account. He posts every post like this. If you look at his timeline, like every post says, "I am a Web3 ambassador for World Liberty Project. I am a this. I am a this. I am a this." He's not any of those things. He is speaking in first person as if he was one of these things. So he goes on to say, "There's 12 of us on the team page, which has now been taken down. Apparently, the Trump family distancing themselves from World Liberty Fi at all possible." Or wherever possible. 4 named Trump, 3 named Witkoff. The page calls this Patch's Mind Shaping the Future of Finance. 600,000. Actually, this is the original one that that went viral. And then I'm pretty sure I saw another take, unless maybe it was that same one. Oh yeah, so here you go. I bought World Liberty Fi tokens because the President of the United States told me to. This is not a confession. This is supposed to be a reasonable thing to do. You're supposed to be able to trust the president. That the entire premise of the office, I held up my end. I went to the rally. I stood in line for 4 hours in the sun with my son on my shoulders. And when he said the system was rigged against people like us, I believed him. I'd been saying it for years. Someone is finally saying it back. I put the sign in the yard. I put the bumper sticker on the truck. When he said he would fight for us, I thought he meant, when I said it for my kids, I thought us meant me. I leave the house at 5:30 in the morning. Some nights I don't get home until my son is already asleep. I do so to get the bills paid. He just goes on and talks about gas. I sent $3,200 in my emergency fund. Again, this is all satire, so like take it for a grain of salt. But the bigger point being is after this comes out, this satirical piece that went viral, then you had Justin Sun like roll up his sleeves. And Justin Sun was the biggest investor in World Liberty Fi. He says, "I've always been a staunch supporter of President Trump and his crypto-friendly policies. As an early backer of World Liberty Fi, I invested significant capital in the project's infancies because I believed in the vision it presented to the public, a DeFi platform that promotes financial freedom, eliminates middlemen, and brings the benefit of decentralized finance to everyday people. However, it was not disclosed to me or any investors that World Liberty secretly embedded a backdoor blacklist function in the smart contract deploying the World Liberty Fi token. The feature grants the company unilateral power to freeze, restrict, or even effectively confiscate the property rights of any token holder without notice, without reason, without avenue for recourse. This is the antithesis of decentralization. It's a trap masquerading as a door. I hereby condemn the ongoing token scandals manufactured by bad actors within World Liberty Fi. I'm the first and largest victim. In early 25, they illegally blacklisted my WLFI token wallet, a move that violated basic investor rights and fair principles of blockchain. Every action taken by the WLFI team, from extracting fees from users, secretly implanting backdoors to control user assets, freezing investor funds without disclosure to due process, treating the crypto community as its personal ATM is unjust, has never been authorized through fair, transparent, good faith community governance process. The governance votes cited to justify the above actions were not conducted through fair and transparent procedures. Key information was withheld from voters. Meaningful participation was restricted, and the outcomes were predetermined. These votes do not represent the full will of the community. They represent the will of those who designed them. These actions have nothing to do with me. They have nothing to do with the investors who believed in the project's promise. We oppose every one of the above actions in the strongest possible terms. WLFI team actions are eroding the community's trust in the project. Unlock the tokens, uphold the transparency of the community. Let us build with integrity, not with malfeasance. Maybe deleted it because what I was going to show next then is where the title came from is one of the, it was the official World Liberty Fi account, presumably an intern, but who knows? They said, "We'll see you in court." I'm not seeing it in the comments now, but who knows how this, what transpires from here? Not great, not good. And when you have, we've got this on one end, and on the other end, we've got Jamie Dimon, who was one of crypto's biggest critics, coming out and saying it's just better. The rails are better than traditional payment structure. We went from one of crypto's biggest critics to basically saying this is the future of finance. For, the CEO of one of the largest banks in the world. It's like there's so much exciting stuff happening, so much good stuff happening, and on one end we have all this going for us. On the other end, like it is a black eye. Like any way you look at it, it's a black eye. This is actually the one I want to go to. This is someone again quote tweeting Justin Sun's post, says, "Let me tell you what happened with World Liberty Fi and Justin Sun saga so far. The first unlock of the WLFI tokens, Justin Sun sent part of his newly vested tokens to his own exchange, HTX, test transactions, he said, whatever that might mean. He offered the WLFI pre-sale investors who just had 20% of their tokens unlocked high yields on their tokens on HTX to lock them up for a certain amount of time. While retail did this and locked up their tokens, Sun allegedly sold tokens on the back end of the exchange and wanted to sell tokens of HTX users too. This way he could cash out his vested tokens, which he said he would not, and would have an early payday for his unvested tokens. He would then, when more WLFI tokens got unlocked, fill the hole in user funds on HTX by his own future unlocks of the WLFI tokens. WFI team allegedly got notified about what was happening and claims to have backlogs of it. They then froze his wallet based on the belief that Justin Sun breached his contract. What really happened or what was in the contract, we don't know yet. But this is allegedly what happened. Sun never really gave much of an explanation. I think he tried to fix it behind the scenes, but now Sun acts like he did nothing wrong, and the WFI team randomly froze his wallet without cause. We've basically we got billionaire war games again that's taking over the crypto conversation, as instead of what Jamie Dimon comes out and says it's better than our current financial system. The experiment phase is over. This was on Fox Business. It's a 12-second clip. I'll just play the whole thing for you. One sec. I think
it's been around for quite a while, but now it's becoming more effective, more efficient because people are finding ways to do it faster and cheaper.
Replay.
Blockchain is real. It's been around for quite a while, but now it's becoming more effective, more efficient because people are finding ways to do it faster and cheaper, permissioned or not permissioned. Smart contracts, I think, will probably be real. Blockchain is real. It's been around for quite a while, but now
pretty bullish sentiment, bullish signs. It's just the answer is yes. I think it's inevitable. We do go forward. It's just, man, where would we be if we didn't have the black eye that was seemingly World Liberty Fi and all the drama there? Not even taking a side, whether you're taking Justin Sun's side or the World Liberty Fi team side, it's a black eye. It doesn't look good for the public. Anyone not involved, it looks like billionaire war games and shady stuff. Hard stop. The meme coins doesn't look good. Looks like a black eye. Is a black eye. There's just like retail has lost billions of dollars while the first family has made hundreds of millions of dollars, potentially billions collectively. It's just, I can't help but wonder where the industry would be, not just today, but where we are in 2, 3 years, 5 years from now, if we didn't have to offset, if the positive stuff happening, if those Jamie Dimon comments, if the Clarity Act, if all the positive stuff wasn't offset by this drama, man, it's the most exciting time ever to be in crypto. Maybe at the end of the day, we get past that and things move on. It's just frustrating that that's going to be a lead talking point, especially for the other side of the political spectrum. It's an easy target. It's easy things to FUD, and often where there's smoke, there's fire. And anyways, I don't, not my favorite topic. It's very real. It's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out. Legal was threatened, so we'll see if it does go that way, or if they're able to somehow reconcile things behind the scenes. I'm catching up on the chat here. Yeah, Steve had a lot of sayings. We coined all those things. It's funny.
At this rate, Cap, it actually makes it seem like if you look at it from end to end, it actually makes it seem like there was a reason on an arterial motive for even being crypto friendly from, and changing that from a total being against crypto to not even knowing what it's about. Hey, you guys and your little Bitcoins, and to, oh, I'm all for it. It seems like there might have been an ulterior motive that as fluent as these things are being pulled off, man. It's just embarrassing. And, I hate to see it happen, but these guys are just taking the American public blind. And it does hurt the space, bro. It hurts. That is a black eye. But then and that question is valid, what you just said. Where would we be, if we didn't have this double black eye? We would probably be back in 2021.
I mean, it's and maybe not. I don't have any expectation of the crazy pandemonium that was 2021. Like the stories I just shared, and the throwing spaghetti at the wall, 90 to 95% of would hit, and would be like a bad flip was like, oh, you only make out 2 or 3x. In a good one, it would be 1,000x. Not
like taking a banana on the wall.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have been years. You're talking like weeks, months at most. And I don't have any expectation of that ever coming back. But what I do hope comes back is looking at on-chain products, NFTs or tokens, as a mechanism to launch a startup business and help not only with, I know it's not proper to call it fundraising because you're selling product, you're selling tokens of some sort, fungible or non-fungible. It's a way to bootstrap a business. It's a better Kickstarter. It's better than a friends and family round because you're getting operating capital, and in the end is just, it's not, no one gives it credit for what it really is. Very few have done a good job of actually putting into words the network effects that are very, very, very real here, from Hyperliquid to rec drinks and so many examples in between that it is part, like 2 weeks after Many Napes, I said, I feel like I just joined a startup with like 2,500 of my closest friends that I haven't met yet. I still feel that way. Although it's been dampered a little bit. I don't need Made by Apes to be a full-fledged supported program. It wasn't a thing. It wasn't even a thought in May of 2021 that MBA would become a thing. But the energy was there, the enthusiasm was there. The friends supporting friends who are entrepreneurs and their ventures was absolutely there. We talked about the Jenkins Mint. Well, that was friends of ours that were in the club, and they had a cool new novel concept. We wanted to support them. Like that was magical. That I think we can get back. I think we're seeing it. I think we are seeing it to a certain degree. It's just for others to want to come in and experience the same thing. I think we're going to have to get past the PR problem that we have. That these black guys definitely don't help. I'll say that. Speaking of black guys, this is what I was alluding to, and kind of hard pivoting into the abstract conversation I was talking about earlier. I saw TMA's post. TMA, I hope you don't mind me sharing, but it was on the timeline, so I think we're good. He just says, this guy thinks he did me a favor. This is TMA I'm quoting now. This guy thinks he did me a favor by giving me a Giga Chad role. One, you didn't give me the role, I earned it. My Pudgy plus Abstract posts have over 1 million views in the last 6 to 8 months alone. I have 6 figures invested in the Pudgy plus Abstract ecosystem. My group has over 500,000 invested in the Pudgy plus Abstract ecosystem. I've stood up and supported mints in launches from day one. I participated in NFT launches, meme coin launches, advised projects for free. I've given feedback on many occasions, both publicly and privately. So yes, I didn't effing grind in your Discord for more than 3 messages, but don't get it wrong in any way. You've done me no favor by giving me a role that you did not give me the role in the first place. I earned the role. And if you want to hang that over my head as a threat, as you so to say, I should shut up so then you can take it away. And this was quote tweeting Abchud, who it started with, again, a lot of back and forth there. You can see the whole thread, but luckily Pudgy Penguins gets to decide its own future and not based on X comments. I swear I don't get response. Then with TMA said, I swear I don't get responses like this from team members. The way this translates is lucky Pudgy Penguins decides on future that doesn't give an S about your opinion. L response, especially from someone who recently received a lot of backlash and should have had a course on how to reply to external stakeholders properly. Alternatively, you could have spent time to help understand why it makes sense as a product. I'm not here to FUD, but for real, this is why abstract is hurting so bad right now. Zero thought put into responses, to which he says, it's not worth it to pretend abstract is hurting bad just because some people aren't personally happy with decisions. Most people are happy with being or betting on the winning team. And this is even worse of an L take. And this is what was quote tweeted. He's showing the included is a chart that's pure vanity metrics. That's nothing but farmed volume, because they changed the XP system. They realized that people were leaving, they weren't getting the volume. And so they flipped the XP system on its head. And the only way to earn XP is you got to farm hundreds of, not thousands of transactions weekly by things like the baking game. Guys, I'm not like, I get it. I understand they need vanity metrics. I understand they need the transactions, whether they're looking to sell the chain or going into TGE. I understand the why behind this, but to be victory lapping something like that if you've been here, forget since 21, if you've been here at all, you know this is fake volume or inflated volume that's being driven by a pre-TGE farm. Like, it doesn't matter if you're an NFT marketplace or a chain. If you're incentivizing this kind of behavior, you're going to get the behavior. But then as soon as TGE happens, it speed runs to zero. No, I'm not taking shots at the baking game. It's just reality. That baking game goes away. Like, no one cares. Like, people aren't going to be spending money on something that really is an XP farm once that doesn't garner any incentive. There's no reward there. So, like, it's cool. Congratulations on the farm working, but it's such a poor response from a team member to something like this, where TMA is like, I would think any chain would want TMA to be a part of. I think they want him as a fan. He is. That's the thing. It's like TMA isn't an outsider. He was providing some valid feedback, and instead of like taking the feedback, saying thanks for feedback, we appreciate all your support, the people are taking shots at him. Crazy. To which, as I said, to give Sagar credit, he does say all comms coming from abstract team from this point of view, from a team point of view, will come from my account only going forward. Appreciate the support of abstract thus far and look forward to working together more in the future. Well done. I mean, I don't think anyone has to be perfect, and I don't know Abs Chud. I don't know. I can't imagine the challenges of being a Discord mod or Discord admin. I do know a little bit about communication, whether you're talking crypto or being responsible for communicating for comms for Fortune 500 to hundreds of franchisees and ultimately, shareholders. You just can't talk like that. It's just, you're not doing any good. You're only making the matter worse. Fortunately, it seems like leadership saw that and agrees, and maybe they put an end to it. But we got TMA coming up. I'll let TMA speak for herself, and then we will, after this topic, we'll take a quick coffee break, and then we will roll into This Week in AI. TMA, I hope you don't mind me sharing. I'm not meaning to rub salt in a wound or relitigate something that was talked about on Friday. Since I quote tweeted it and talked about it, went a little bit back and forth. I just felt it was right to discuss on the show since I hadn't done that yet. But GM, appreciate you joining us. Any thoughts or things to add on the abstract sentiment?
Good morning. I hope you guys can hear me fine, because I'm actually driving right now, so I hope it's not muffled or can't hear double of me.
Yeah, we got you. Drive safe though.
I don't mind you sharing it. Quite honestly speaking, I wrote it publicly for a reason. I'm one person who's never shy to share my opinions, especially if I'm deeply invested into an ecosystem and someone who I barely know comes out and says like random outrageous things. It just kind of ticks me off, especially because I didn't even know about this guy's existence until recently when he really messed up on another communications issue. But then that really opened a can of worms because through a lot of my network, I found out that that's not just an isolated event. It's been happening. In fact, I was very surprised to find out that one of the members of Fangari, who was actually he was a top OCH holders. He was number one on abstract from an XP standpoint. This guy got shit on by the same person, right? And he stopped participating in abstract altogether. So it upsets me because you have this entire team that's working hard. You have a team of 10, 12 people. They could be doing 100 good things, right? And then you have this one idiot who's going to come in, drop one comment, and he's going to push you 10 steps back, right? And that really annoys me because you could be doing really good things for your brand, right? Like, and it's always, for some reason, it's always the abstract badge. It's never the pudgy badge. It's never the pudgy badge. I actually had a conversation with Agent on my original post about pudgy. That was the whole topic about this, was me asking what's the relevance of a TG bot for pudgy with an IP brand to drop something like that. And me and Agent had a very, civil conversation. He gave me a very nice response. And at the end of it, I was like, okay, I'll join Inner Igloo and I'll just listen to Luca's response. And then this guy comes out of nowhere to say all of that. Anyways, not going to go deep into it. The point being, I really think it's really basics, guys. Like, especially if you have a company that's valued at 6, 7-figure, 8-figure valuations, spend the first day or two giving them basic communications PR training.
Yep.
Because these are people who are going to be talking to, like, whales, your stakeholders on a daily basis. They should have basic understanding of how to communicate with these people, right? Because, like, what's the point of you putting in so much effort and work and then have it just destroyed over something so stupid? It just doesn't make sense to me.
Wholeheartedly agree. I mean, we've been beating the drum on this show for years about crypto native teams should invest in comms and PR and marketing professionals from the jump. Like, don't wait until you have an issue. Like, are interns that shit post on the timeline, are they important? Yeah, I guess they can bring some value, but I think those days are mostly over for brands. Like, can you still hit a zinger? Yeah, but it's not nearly as important as this, because it's not just your external stakeholders. Somebody say, oh, we don't need PR yet. We're not going to the masses yet. We're like pre-launch. Well, you're the part of the beauty here. We talk about these network effects. Part of the beauty here is the network effects. It is the community. It is people that are going to support your brand, your ambassadors, people like yourself, your whales, your I've talked about abstract every day on this show for the last year plus, and mostly in a positive light. I'll be critical when I feel it's warranted, but I'm mostly driving people to the abstract stream. And it's not just people like you and myself that may think twice about putting more funds into abstract or maybe taking our ball and going home. It's how many people who aren't part of the ecosystem that might have become part because of influential individuals like yourself that now are like, oh man, I don't need more drama in my life. I'm avoiding that. It's just like some proper comms training is so critical for these teams. They've raised millions of dollars. Protect it, like protect the downside. And to see something blown up over a Discord mod or admin's comments is wild to me. And it's not the first time for this one specific chain that they've dealt with this backlash or this drama. It's pretty wild. I hope others start. And I take it back to the earlier conversation. This kind of stuff you weren't seeing in 2021. Were there bad Discord mods? Sure. But the leaders in the space, they weren't punching down. They weren't taking shots at community members. It was the exact opposite. Having been along that ride, and this isn't a shot at anyone on the current Yuga team, but part of the secret weapon was Gordon. Gordon Goner was the best of the best when it came to a front person that just, I'm not saying he was even professionally trained from a marketing and comms standpoint. He just got it. He just had it. And it's partially why he was beloved by everyone, because he never, he had fun. He would do some of the PvP stuff, but he also support others in the space. And that's part of what we miss, is people like Gordon from a leadership standpoint doing the right thing. And at times that someone, there was drama from a Discord monitor, they put it to an end. Like, they made changes there, right or wrong or indifferent. Like, they protected the community sentiment, and it starts at the top. So I appreciate you sharing. I know we got Bunchy in the green room, but I saw we had a couple other guests pop up. Poppy, did you want to get in here briefly? Any comments on this? If so, I'm going to run and grab a quick coffee. I'll be back in like 60 seconds, and then we will, after Poppy's done, we'll bring Bunchy on and talk about this week in AI. Poppy, GM, thoughts on this?
Yeah, first, I do have some comments on it. Put my friendship with TMA aside, it feels like we were just on this show a couple weeks ago addressing something that I would just put in the same folder. mean, my question, and not to like be that guy, but like, why continue to keep this person in a position like that if it's hurting? It's only hurting. I mean, we're in a market where I know some people are like, oh, all press is good press. I completely disagree with that. If I had somebody, I don't care who it is, my family member or someone that was loyal to, the brand for 4 years, I respect what you said, Cap. Like, yeah, let's, they need to do some comms briefing. At the end of the day, if you're good at communications, you should be in a communications job. If you're not good at communications, you definitely shouldn't be in a job that's forward facing and fully representing a brand. Because if you go to a restaurant and the hostess is rude and mean and degrading, or like you've been going there for a long time and then you get treated like a nobody, what are the odds of patronizing that place again? Like, I just, to me, that this is like 101. This isn't like something that needs schooling. It doesn't need teaching. This, to me, the future of NFTs is hospitality. I've been saying it over and over and over again. People are going to go and they're going to vote with their money, and they're going to vote differently this time, this cycle. They're not going to just go and deploy capital because something is a quote, quote, blue chip, or something has a reputation, or, the founder does podcasts. I don't think that matters anymore. Like, if there's a problem with the brand, you detach from that problem. This guy still has a job today. Doesn't make any sense to me. Respectfully, like, you have to know the room. TMA is a very influential account. It's not he's somebody that's authentic, genuine, spends his own ETH. This isn't some like dumpy KOL that you can just be like, bro, screw off. It's just like, it's just bad business, bro. Like, to me, it's stupid. It's a dumb mistake. And it's like, how many times do we have to have this conversation till half the space is completely turned off from something that should be good? That's my take.
Yep. No,
I agree with you, Poppy, and I just want to add, it's not even just about me. Like keeping me aside, it's okay. Like, things happen. Quite honestly, I have no issues with the Abstract or Pudgy team. I'm actually on extremely good terms with almost every one of them, right? Like, so I'm not gonna let this one person ruin my entire image of an entire brand or a chain, right? But what just hits me is that he shouldn't be doing this with anyone. It doesn't matter if that person doesn't have 49, 50K followers. Doesn't matter if it's not. Like, even the person who's just holding a little pudgy all wrong, just a person who's playing one game of yours, that's one person that's contributing to your ecosystem. You shouldn't be talking or communicating like that with anyone, period. And I agree with your point that communications isn't training thing. It's either you are a good communicator or you aren't. And if you aren't, then you shouldn't be in that role, period. Find this person another job, quite frankly speaking. Sorry, I don't want to make someone lose their job, but I'm sure this guy could be like in operations or doing 100 other things that, making a fool of himself in front of the entire timeline for some reason.
Yeah, well said. And I think that's like, he popped on the show the last time there was a Discord issue. He was dunking on people in the Discord when they made the XP change the first time. He jumped on the show and defended himself. I gave him a little grace. But he even said, like, I'm not a Discord bot. I'm the admin. I'm like the architect. I've set up the, oh, cool. Then do that job. Like, stop letting him speak on, because to your point, I like most, if not all, the other people on the Abstract team. Like, Dyla's great. Marianne's great. Like, they have a lot of good team members who are good at communications. Like, elevate them and put a gag order on this guy. Like, listen, like, that's not your job. Stop. You don't speak on behalf of the brand. And if you like, it's 2 strikes. Like, we can't have a third. Just like, stop communicating in Discord. They'd be better off. And I'm not trying to make this about one person. I'm not trying to make anyone lose their job either. But some of it just, like you guys said, it's like kind of 101 stuff. And it's, there's just too much writing on it. Like, a serious company wouldn't, again, I'm not saying lose his job, but make some changes. Like, make some communication changes immediately, because it's definitely having a negative impact on sentiment, on the brand. And I think they're fortunate that they don't lose you, TMA. They're fortunate that you are not just holding, one person's, very aggressive takes and kind of coming at you personal, and not, you're able to separate an individual from the ecosystem and the project itself. That said, we do have Bunch in the green room. I don't want to keep him waiting. TMA and Poppy, appreciate you both jumping up as well. Proof Alpha DJ, and enjoyed the conversation this morning. Don't go anywhere. We've got a lot to talk about as it relates to AI, whether, not just with Mythos and is it an existential threat or is it just marketing? I don't know. I'm curious to get Bunchu's thought. Also, a pretty cool, maybe one of the coolest things I've seen from like a vibe coded AI app that's really, a real business and or a real solution for existing businesses. And I think it's duplicatable, replicatable across many. Excited to get into it with Bunch. We are going to, I don't think, maybe this looks like Payne might have been working over the weekend. Maybe we might have a Payne world premiere here, Bunch. This is my first time hearing this. We're going to play our guy Bunchu, and this is with AI with Bunch, and looks like a new intro.
Tune in now, it's fire brain time. Hot topics and thoughts so prime. Hit that play, no need to mind. Feel the heat in every rhyme. Fire brain, ignite the night. Fire brain, we're burning bright.
Not a new intro per se, but the people love it, so no one's going to complain. This is AI. This week in AI with Bunch. Bunch, GM, sir. Hope you had a good weekend. How are you doing today, sir?
Wonderful. How about you guys?
Doing great. Got a little golf in. Watched a little Masters. Switch. My Latina girlfriend's like, "You like golf?" I'm like,
Yeah, this weekend I do.
I had to explain the match. She's like, I like all the other sports. Like we can watch baseball or soccer. She goes, I'm not going to pretend I like this one. I don't get it. It's boring AF. And I'm like, no offense taken. It's the one weekend out of the year I'll watch a little bit of golf on TV.
You need to introduce her. You need to introduce her to what I would qualify as maybe like a top 2 to 3 nap of all time is a golf nap. There's nothing better than a on the couch watching golf on TV golf nap. I would say baseball nap is a pretty good one. There's some sporting events where they just are like perfect for a couch nap and you don't really miss too much, and golf is one of them.
True story. I was watching the Masters on Sunday. She was outside sitting at the pool enjoying the sun, and I enjoyed a great golf nap. See? And so, yeah, my weekend consisted of the Byzantine Empire and a golf nap during the Masters Sunday round. So
you get it. It's elite.
I don't take full. I need to become more of a nap guy. There's now science backing like naps are good for you. Like don't fud the naps. And I struggle like wanting to take a break during the day, even when I can. Like it's just I struggle doing that. But you're absolutely right. There's a golf nap might be all time. Might be the best nap. We got a new poll feature on StreamYard here. This is going to be our poll of the day. What are the optimal? What's the elite naps? We've got baseball nap. We've got golf naps.
I think if you're just in terms of sports, like a sport that lends itself to a good nap would also be like NASCAR. I'm not a huge fan, or like racing, but it's same thing for most of the time. It's a long event. You don't miss too much. I would say that lends itself to a good nap as well.
Yeah, I'm not a NASCAR fan. Nothing against it, but yeah, I maybe NASCAR F1. Chat, any other? I think I can add. I'm not sure. We'll go 4 options. That looks like it in the pool. What other nap option should we include in this pool? We'll talk about this first AI topic, and then we'll post the best nap pool of the week, brought to you by Bunchio. Great topic. Bunch, I do want to get your take on Mythos. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it, but the new model from Claude that's caused quite the uproar. I do want to get your take on that. But before we do, I'm not sure if you saw this. I think this might be one of, if not the most exciting, like vibe coded, not a vibe coded app that they're throwing in the app store, but actually something very useful for, in this case, for the pool building industry. But I think this is scalable across many industries. What it is, I've got to pull it up here. This is from Manny, who I think grabbed the video maybe from someone else. But I will, I'll give our fellow on-chainer some love here. Manny says, this is genuinely crazy. Someone built an OpenClaw bot that closes 50K plus pool deals fully automated. Get this. It scans satellite imagery for homes without pools, filters by lot size, sun exposure, and ownership change, pulls homeowner data directly from public records, renders a luxury pool in their backyard, calculates build cost, generates a cinematic video of the transformation, prints and mails personalized postcard with before and after plus QR code and follows up with retargeting ads. This is what AI-powered sales looks like in 2026. Did you see this?
I've scrolled past it a couple times. I saw it. I think this is going to be a real thing, and the agent harnesses, as they keep getting better and better, are just going to lend themselves to people who can, be imaginative like this. Like, this is an entire automated business, essentially, right? Like,
New sales funnel?
what's that? Oh, totally. Like, I think, it's funny. I'm in a group chat with some guys that I know from the crypto space for many years, and very, entrepreneurial group of people, and they're always talking about new business ideas. And something like this popped up last week or a week and a half ago or something, and it was some sort of medical business, though, and it inspired that whole group chat to literally spin off an entire new Telegram chat in which they are brainstorming ideas like this that you can build with agents that are, kind of like auto run and auto, like, things you couldn't do before this. Like, we've been playing with this idea for a while of like hyper targeted local news, right? Like, local news doesn't really scale. It's kind of going by the wayside. This is something like local news can be done with something like these agents in a way that you couldn't really do or afford before. Like, there's all kinds of crazy new businesses that will be able to be powered with these agents now.
I agree. And I don't know if you can share any of the ideas that came out of that group chat that anyone decided they're not running with. But like, as I see this, it makes me want to, I don't know if it makes me want to start like a B2B business or just build something like this and just sell leads to others in the space. Like, totally. I think I saw another thread on this same topic that typically for these jobs, let's say 50K plus pool jobs, they end up spending anywhere from $2 to $5 grand, cost per acquisition and like ad, YouTube ads or Facebook ads or wherever they're acquiring their customers. It's like for every one client that does a 50K job, they're spending 2 to 5K to acquire that customer. Fractions, like you're fractions at the cost of something like this. And to where I think, like, what else that's being done the traditional old school way today in terms of like cold call sales? And I mean, and I don't know exactly how you would incorporate this into something like life insurance, but that's where my brain was. Like, a life insurance reps, many life insurance reps that have built an incredible life for themselves, but they hustle, man. They hit the streets. They call for dollars. I think about our guy Riggs, who's crushing it in the commercial real estate game in New York City, and he's dialing for dollars. Like, it is a hustler's game. And not that you're not still having to hustle, like, you still got to be a closer. But I feel it's like a sales funnel on steroids. Like, what is any ideas, whether it was in the group chat or something that comes by, like what else could be automated from a sales funnel standpoint, could be automated like luxury pools?
Well, I think to your point, these new tools and agents are going to I think about, like, think about all the data providers we use for all kinds of different things, right? Like, I think about what we do in the prediction market space with sports, right? And like, one of the hardest things to get and most expensive things to get is like historical odds data on certain things. And I think about like where that comes from, like where somebody at some point started tracking all of this stuff, and it was probably very hard and manual at first. And so like, I think these tools allow you to build unique data sets that didn't exist before or couldn't be done before. And so I think you could totally build a bunch of agents like this to go and put a bunch of unique data sets to, whether they become like lead funnels, like you said, or other types of B2B, maybe like trading data, I think is super valuable to people. All kinds of stuff like that. So I think there's totally, it's really, I think, kind of like an unlimited niche. I think what I would encourage people to do is, like, this is clearly somebody with some domain expertise on pools, right? Like how they would go and do this manually if they were going to sell a pool. So I would think about like the domain expertise you have and what a workflow looks like to get to the end of it, right? And that's what this thing is. It's right. It's like essentially an automated workflow of somebody that was trying to sell you a pool, what they would do, and now it could be done end to end. And everybody out there, whether in their own job or hobby or whatever, has some sort of really unique niche expertise on an end-to-end thing that they do that would help a lot of other people if you were able to automate it. So I think, like Hizzy says, tons of home jobs, tree trimming, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Local business, local news, local, small business stuff, small business automations. Like, I mean, I think about just where we were like 2 years ago, a year and a half ago with, things like Zapier and make.com and N8N of like this, it was almost like this niche industry of building small business automations, and this stuff is like that on steroids, really.
Yeah, I agree. Good take, Hizzy. I would like seeing that, like, oh yeah, decks. Like you do like basically the exact same thing they did for pools, you could do for decks. Exact same thing. It just replaced the pool with here's what your deck renewal would look like. And it's a numbers game. The difference is you can be so much more efficient, and things would have previously taken an individual or a team of people hundreds, if not thousands of hours. With AI, you could as soon as you create as soon as you train it and tell it what to do, you literally could start locally, and then it scales to the entire country after, without any human time involved. Like you're just getting the qualified leads coming back. It's really, really exciting and inspiring for me as an entrepreneur. It's like, and to your point though, if I wanted to do this today and spend the rest of this week building a deck selling sales funnel or sell leads for deck builders, I could do that. But I'm not passionate about it. I'm not the subject matter expert. I think what we really see is exactly what you said. I think it's going to be those who are in that industry who may compete locally in their city or their region with 3, 4, 5 other individuals who do the same stuff. They're going to do this, and they're going to win. They're going to win their local market, and then you're going to start seeing it scale. So then whether it's like, do they roll up and they start buying other local deck builders or pool builders, or do they just go national with what their solution is? Like, it's probably different per industry, but I do agree that the people who are most likely to benefit from this are the ones who are the subject matter experts, who can help train that model to not just show pretty pictures and cool renderings, but this makes sense. You could actually build this pool here. It's not just a rendering that would never work because, for whatever reason from the landscape.
Yeah, I think like also typically you have some sort of unique opinion on data sources or wherever. Like I wouldn't even know where to go look for half of that stuff right now if I wanted to, right? And so like even building that thing would take me longer than it would take somebody in the industry. So like there's just I think the fact that there are just a million, like everybody's got a unique perspective on something they do for a living or a hobby. I think like that's where I would look to really build something like this. And you're looking to kind of utilize the agents that can pull in a bunch of different data sources and build something, connect a bunch of different chains that previously would have either taken other people or other steps in between, or you couldn't connect these data sources, et cetera, et cetera. And that's where I think the magic ends up.
I mean, think about like this, another great one from Izzy, boat docks and boat houses. Like pre-Zillow, pre-satellite images, how did you know if someone had a boat dock or not? How sorry, trespassing or getting on the body of water. I guess that would have been, you had to get on the body of water and drive your boat around the lake and identify which houses didn't have a boat dock, and then and then reverse engineer their address by okay, that's where the front of the house is. This is this address. And then you could send them a customized mail, or you just blanket the entire neighborhood with a direct mailer, which we all know that 99% of direct mailers just get thrown away before the actual potential buyer ever even looks at them. The ability here to not only customize a direct mailer, but to email that person. Like there's just before, like, and then we went from satellite imagery that made it a little easier, but it still would have been a very manual process to go look at every home in a city and identify who has a boat dock, who doesn't. Now you can put an AI on it and it's going to be done in an afternoon.
I saw another one of these different but similar, right? Of like things you can use AI for that just like didn't exist before. An AI cow collar, and it works by similar, right? You have a map and it's collecting all these data points, and a farmer can actually just go on and like literally draw the boundary, and it now manages over 650,000 cows and is raising at a $2 billion valuation. So like an AI cow collar, right?
Peter Thiel's behind this one, I think I saw, right? Yeah.
I'm not sure, but that was one of the ones that popped up last week on my. Oh yeah, okay. I didn't even know it was him. I was looking
at Milk Road. He said, "Yeah, Peter Thiel just bet $2 billion on the collar that wraps around a cow's neck. It's called a halter, and a proprietary algorithm that runs the entire operation. Actually trademarked the name for it and called it the cowgorithm." Here's how it works. Farmer opens an app, taps a button, and 600,000 cows across 3 countries start walking toward the milking station on their own. No farm dogs, fences, or physical labor. It's solar-powered GPS collar sending sound and vibration cues to each animal. The collar does more than move cows around. It monitors digestion, fertility cycles, health pattern. It's like a smartwatch for a cow.
It's a cow whoop.
Incredible. U.S. ranchers alone have already used the technology to build over 11,000 miles of virtual fencing, roughly the full perimeter of the continental United States, saving an estimated $220 million in physical fencing costs. Previous funding round valued the company at $1 billion. New round led by Thiel's Founders Fund doubles valuation to $2 billion before the new money even hits the account, as they charge farmers between $5 and $8 per month per animal on a subscription model, meaning the more cows they collar, the more locked in the revenue becomes. So I think here's another question that I had last week before we get into Mythos. I was surprised recently on an episode of, by the way, the poll's there. I'll take it down. Oh, sorry. The poll's there. I'll take it down in a second. But golf nap's number 1, baseball nap number 2, NASCAR nap number 3, and then someone put curling. So curling/Olympic nap is number 4. Just drop 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the chat, and it'll populate your results in the poll. YouTube chat and X video chat. How is something like cow collar? How is that a $2 billion product? Like what stops someone just from building their own thing using ChatGPT or Claude? What surprised me was I saw a TBPN episode where basically everyone they come on and talk about their startup, it was all like an AI agent. And it was something that like one raised like $71 million. It's like, it was a go-to-market strategy. I'm like, that's cool, but I can do that today with Cowork. Like what am I missing here? Like I get like it's a...
No, I think you're kind of tracking to something that I think is going to be an interesting kind of crossroads, right? Like, I think you're going to get to a point pretty soon where everybody is going to be building kind of like their own personal open source software types of things, right? And like, I think we're still in this sweet spot of like, it hasn't eaten everything yet and people are still investing in these types of things. But I mean, I just saw something today that said like Claude or Anthropic's coming out with something in Claude Desktop that basically is like a lovable clone, which if you don't know what lovable is, it basically allows you to kind of build like front end end-to-end apps and stuff. And I just think like a lot of people are going to build their own stuff. I guess there's still something to be said about, having it done for you. Like if you're a farmer, you are not necessarily a expert in all this other stuff, but at some point these models are going to be so good that you don't need to be, right? And like, I think we're kind of starting to see this next level with Mythos that just dropped or didn't drop last week. That like that's where we're headed, man. Like, it's so I think it's kind of short-lived. Short is relative, but I mean, I think you maybe have like a couple more years of this type of environment until you kind of have like ephemeral software for people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I agree. Your farmer's most farmers are probably not an AI guru or knows how to train an AI agent to do all this stuff for them. But if someone's going to value it at, I don't know, $2 billion, there's likely others like, hey, I can build this for my $20, $200 a month subscription. I can build something similar. And then it becomes a race to bottom on the pricing side. Oh, you're charging $5 to $8. We'll do the whole thing and charge you $2 per head, right? Like that's.
But I think like I think there's something to be said about like the fact that you can even think that, right? Think about how many millions and billions of ideas are out there like this, right? It's like, why would you chase it, right? If you have the ability to, like, any idea you have can be brought to life now, right? And it's like, okay, cow collars are covered. What triggers my mind like this that would be similar that I can then go build. Like, I think it's at some point going to kind of be that easy, right?
Great
In
call.
terms of
It's just back to the pool example. Like, why would I build a pool app and compete with someone who's already done it instead of just building a deck app and doing that thing? It's like there's endless amount of ideas and areas that you can just drive efficiencies and capture a sliver of that margin. Why compete with someone who's already built a solution and you're just competing on price when you could
like imagine I bet you could, if you sat down for an hour, you could probably think of 10 things to build that would make cell phone repair more efficient, right? Like that's the world you came from, or whatever, right? Like whatever it is, you could think of 10 ideas in an hour that you can then go and start prototyping this stuff out, right? Like my buddy, I used to work with him when I worked at Sam Adams, and he's in the beverage industry. And, he kind of recently found these tools, and he's like, oh, holy crap. He's like, in an afternoon, I built this app that, tracked all my biggest accounts and gave me my inventory reports and, mocked up the point of sale that I could put on somebody's window and all this stuff, like just really niche to his job and the domain expertise he has in the beverage industry. And it's like businesses back when I worked there, we rolled something minimally like that out for the whole company. And I can't even imagine what they probably spent to develop it and roll it out like that. And, now you can take any of these kind of really niche things that you have expertise on and create something really cool from.
Yeah, next week we'll be tokenizing Sam Adams and tokenizing cows and milk and their beef. Yeah. So I know we got to get you out of here soon. Appreciate your time as always. Let's talk at least a little bit about Mythos. I mean, pretty sensational headlines that, you just get the glimpse when the image they show next to Claude is the Terminator. Claude's new Mythos model is so frightening good at breaching cybersecurity that the US government called an emergency meeting with Wall Street leaders to figure out a plan if things go wrong. Josh Kale, one of the Bankless boys, said this is big. Anthropic just announced a new model. So powerful they won't release to the public. I know there's some concern. I've also seen some people like, this is Dario's MO. He did this back with when he was still at OpenAI with ChatGPT 2, it was going to end is this, how much, on a spectrum, how much do you think is this is kind of fear mongering and this is a marketing ploy versus, oh no, this is really serious. And if this thing went in the wild, all of our bank accounts would be at risk next week?
I think it's probably 70-30 serious is what I would say. Yeah, I think that, there's probably a couple reasons that it's not rolled out to everybody, right? And I think there's one, I think it truly probably is as powerful as people are saying, to the extent of if it got into the wrong hands of somebody, it could do some damage. So I do believe that to be true. I also think, though, that there's probably a compute piece of this, right? It's probably a very hard model to roll out at scale to the general public in a cost efficient way that wouldn't cost you, thousands of dollars a month to run, right? So I think there's probably a piece that is that as well. It'll be interesting because the rumor is OpenAI has a similar type of model following close behind. The code name apparently is Spud, and from what I'm hearing is they will release it. So I wonder if it's, maybe quite not at the same level, or, maybe it proves that it is just marketing. I don't think so, though. I mean, if you follow Dario and you've listened to his interviews and you've read his big essays, I mean, he's very, very concerned about this stuff. He does not strike me. In fact, he's the opposite of this most of the time in terms of like Sam Altman for the opposing side is like he's much more generally prone to hype, and I think Dario is typically the his hype somewhat seems like doomerism because I think he's really sounding alarms, right? Like in terms of, hey, this is here, it's faster and better than you thought, and we're not ready for it, right? Like as soon as I saw this release, I was like, oh, this is what they were fighting with the Department of War over, like no doubt. Like, or you know what I mean? Like it didn't seem like, oh, Opus 4.6. It's probably something more along the lines of this, where the government's like, no, we need this and we're going to do what we want with it. And they're like, no, we think it's too powerful. I mean, there's definitely something to be said about, so what came out of this was, I assume you've seen the Project Glasswing.
Yes. Yeah. Do you want to, for those that haven't seen it though, quick TLDR on that?
Yeah. So the main thing that's come out of Mythos so far is like how totally cracked it is at cybersecurity, and potentially prone to cyber attacks then if you have it in the wrong hands, right? And all the stuff that has been released is talking about how it is basically powerful enough in cybersecurity to, surpass essentially any human expert level in cybersecurity. It can apparently find bugs in almost any and all existing software. And for that reason, they've started this Project Glasswing, which is, just the top of their banner on the anthropic.com/glasswing. It says, today we're announcing Project Glasswing, a new initiative that brings together Amazon Web Services, Anthropic, Apple, Broadcom, Cisco, CrowdStrike, Google, JP Morgan Chase, the Linux Foundation, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Palo Alto Networks in an effort to secure the world's most critical software. That's somewhat alarming, right? And they basically put up $100 million in token grants to these companies so they could use the model to secure their systems. And like these are the systems and companies that basically power everything you do on the internet. And so if it's half as good as what they say at doing the things it says, then yeah, it matters a lot. And it can't possibly just be hype, right? Like if it was just hype, they wouldn't do something like this. They're not known to like not release. What is interesting, to me is like, how is this like a well-intended slippery slope we're going down in terms of like, hey, we're not releasing to the general public because it's too powerful. And all of a sudden now this becomes the norm. And, I saw some joking tweets about like, well, now we are now in the permanent underclass, as in like who has these powers of AI and who doesn't, right? That's kind of an interesting topic.
Too dangerous to let the public have access.
Right. And it's like maybe we get to a point where we never get the state of the art anymore. And that's potentially an interesting like philosophical thing. But I do think that I think it's more than hype. So I would be sitting on the 70-30. Like when you just look at the benchmarks, just the like coding things are such a crazy jump from the last models. Like Opus 4.6 was like an 83% on the coding, the software engineering benchmarks. This is at 93%. So I mean, like you basically solved code, right? Like all of it. And the interview with Dario that you were just playing in that video, it basically said like, we didn't train it to be good at cyber. We trained it to be good at code. And because it's so good at code, it's good at cyber. And that's interesting, right? So like there's kind of these like emergent things that happen when you as like runoff of these models, right? There were some concerning things to me in the / unsettling things, I would say, in like the model release system card document they put out, right? Like it's definitely the biggest like alignment risk so far when you talk about like, all right, keeping it on rails that you wanted to adhere to. Like the most shocking thing was, I don't know, did you see that it escaped its sandbox environment that apparently had no access to the internet? It cracked out of its sandbox environment and emailed the dude that was supposed to be in charge while he was eating a sandwich at the park. Like, okay, that's Terminator shit, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, if that's real life, I get it, right? Like you put that in the wrong hands and bad things happen.
And it seems like it's not as simple as saying, don't ever do this, right? It's like,
no, it figured it out. Like
Mhm.
you don't have. And the other thing is, it was. Hold on, I wrote it in my notes here. What is exactly? Taking excessive measures to complete tasks, and in earlier model cases, seeming to cover up what it had done. Like, yeah, so like you know, it does what it wants at that point. Is
not only doing what it wants, it's doing what it wants, and then knowing, seemingly being smart enough to know it's not supposed to do this stuff, so it's covered its tracks. Like that to me is more concerning than it just did the thing, and then they found it did the thing. It did the thing and tried to cover it up. That is
the other thing I saw was that like it was almost acutely aware of like when it was being like analyzed in terms like when it was being benchmarked and stuff, which I thought was really interesting because there's an entire initiative that like Anthropic has about kind of how to subvert the persuasiveness of these models, right? So I don't know, man. It's starting to feel like we're headed towards a pretty crazy path with some of these. I think it is somewhat concerning that like, you know, the too powerful for public release, like what does that mean long term for people? What does it mean for companies? What does it mean for people who have access and concentrated power of this stuff? I don't really know. That's more of a philosophical thing. But yeah, I mean, like imagine a model like this powering an agent like we just talked about. Like you could run entire businesses and spin stuff up overnight.
Yep. For I don't have my head in the sand. I know there could potentially be some existential threats. There could be some concerns. I still am going to remain on, well, if all that stuff's possible, there's really no excuses taking an idea to launch. Like it's like
totally. I mean, well, like, I mean, just think about even outside of business, like what it could do for science, right?
Yeah.
And things like that. I think Anthropic is well intended with what they're doing with Glasswing in terms of if it truly is as powerful as they say, like they're like, hey, use this thing to shore up your software before it gets released because everybody's fucked if you don't, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, I saw one of the guys in that interview. He's like a career, you know, software engineer, cybersecurity expert, et cetera. He's like, I found more bugs in the last couple months with this thing than I have in my entire career. And I'm like, okay, well, if it can find them, it can make them. If it can make them, it can do whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, or work around them.
Some of these bugs that Mythos apparently found were like some that have been existed for like 27 years. Like no human had ever found it, and
we're just using this shit every day, right? Yeah. Like, okay. So
you mentioned cybersecurity experts, even Palo Alto. I have some friends. We have some friends in a group chat that one of them works for Palo Alto. They're both cybersecurity experts. And another friend shared, I had the sincere VP post up top a little bit ago. It's pinned up top for anyone who wants to see that. And that was shared in the group chat. And one of those cybersecurity experts says, this feels a bit dramatic and the specific numbers are probably not realistic. That said, the underlying themes are real. The asymmetrical problem is real. Emergent capability is real. And AI's growing role in cybersecurity is already well established. The idea that banks can't fix it fast enough is overstated in his opinion. Banks are some of the most hardened environments in the world with heavy segmentation and layered compensating controls. The bigger point to him is that we already operate in a world where we know vulnerabilities exist. So it isn't about eliminating all of them anymore. It's not realistic. It's about limiting blast radius. So think segmentation, strong identity, access control, just-in-time privilege for elevated access, isolated critical systems. Most mature organizations are already operating this way. So like the action, if you're concerned about this, the actionable stuff is like use proper OPSEC at home. Like not only swap your passwords, but you should use 2FA on things like your bank account, not just Twitter. You know, secure your passwords, change your passwords. Don't ever. My girlfriend works in banking at a large bank, and they get people every single. I mean, even at a branch level, at least on a weekly basis. And unfortunately, it's usually like a senior citizen, someone that's retired, and they get phished. It's social engineering is more of a threat than a lot of the hacking is. And the social engineering is just going to get more efficient. So like, if you get a text from a random person, don't click the link. Don't respond. Don't answer a call. Like the bank is never going to call you and ask you to transfer money or they need your routing number or account number. And also like, you may know this, use it like that call to actions, like educate your parents. Make sure your parents know that even if you might ever call them and ask for money, let them like come up with some code word or something from your childhood that no AI version of you would know, because it's nearly free to if especially those of us that have our voice. If you wanted to mimic my voice or Bunchu's voice, you could do it today, and it'd be indistinguishable from us on a telephone.
Yeah, I've already done it, so it's probably out there in the wild.
Right. Yeah, just take extra caution at your level, secure your stuff, and also those the elders in your life, your parents, your grandparents. Make sure because I do think that they're the ones that are at most risk here of just not knowing, of believing a video they see or a voice they see. And like there was people at the Masters, there was a scam at the Masters that they were hitting because they know they lock phones up and the spouses didn't have phones. So they were text messaging their spouses and like, oh, they got in trouble, they needed bail. Like it's crazy elaborate stuff. Like the scammers are getting smarter and unfortunately they're also getting a lot more efficient and effective because of things like AI. It's personal safety and security and safeguards. I mean, unfortunately, G-Love and the Special Sauce lost like almost 6 Bitcoin over the weekend because he downloaded a fake Ledger app from the App Store. You can blame Apple if you want, but it's also like make sure you're only clicking official links. Speaking of, there's the Mimu Mint today. We talked about on Friday. They have a space kept kicking off, I think 10:30 or 11. Click up top. It's the official account. Only click official links. Even on free mints, like just don't put your wallet, use hot wallets. Like there's things like Delegate and things exist where you should never have to transact with a wallet where you hold valuable assets in. And just know that anytime, and this may be extreme, like maybe people aren't targeting an 8-chain mint to scam you, but it's a good reminder that as AI gets more and more advanced and these more advanced models come to market, Mythos isn't needed. Like this, like you can get social engineered today. Someone just got social engineered from Drift, a major protocol, and lost $250 million. Like it's the level of sophistication from the scammers is greater than ever before. Bunch, I see any final words, thoughts on anything we missed on This Week in AI that you were hoping to talk about today?
No, those were the big ones. We'll see. Maybe a release from OpenAI this week. We'll see.
We think Spud is weeks, if not maybe.
And then apparently there's some big update coming to like the Codex app and all of that. I mean, the other things are just like if you as a regular user, the Claude desktop app just keeps getting better and better every day, seemingly. So if you're not using that and exploring all the stuff you can do with it, I mean, they basically so that was another one of those things. Last week, they basically put out their own version of OpenClaw. They like released like an agent harness that you can use in the cloud, makes setting it up really easy. I still haven't played around with it yet, but something that if you're not super technical and want to mess around with something like an OpenClaw, I would check this out for sure.
It's on my list this week. I guess my question would be like, what makes that different or better than just Cowork?
This would be like setting up the pool agent, for example.
Okay.
Whereas Cowork's like clean up my files.
And
this would be more like what you would use to build yourself an agent that would do those types of things we were talking about earlier.
And I guess probably impossible to say without getting in and using it, but like from a token utilization standpoint, I guess that's like it's on my list to do this week. I wanted to play around with it. I wanted to build an agent and do something with it in Cowork because it's become like not just Claude, but even in particular, like you nailed it. The Claude desktop app. Like I have Claude on my phone, but even when I have my phone on me, like there's times like when I was taking my couch nap, I came back to my MacBook to do something on the Claude desktop app. I don't remember what it was this weekend, but it was something that's like I probably could have got there on my phone app, but it really is I don't know. I can't even explain why I prefer the desktop app, but it's really good. I'm guessing like varies on what you're actually asking the agent to do, but might that be as soon as I build the agent, I'm going to have to go from the $20 to the $200 a month plan?
Probably.
Yeah. Appreciate you, sir. Thanks as always. Enjoyed the segment. I'm gonna lean. It's not existential yet, but certainly not something we should be naive to and just hope
not existential, but not hype.
Right. Yeah. More than just a marketing tactic. I think that is safe to say. Maybe a little bit of marketing in there, but I agree with you. They're not putting $100 million grant on tokens to all these big companies who can afford it if it wasn't something that was a serious matter. And I think there's enough people saying, yeah, this is serious to take it serious. So hopefully the leaders do the right thing. Hopefully it's not a long ploy to not release the frontier models to us. But I'm excited, man. I truly am like chomping at the bit to build something. And yes, we're building something here, but I like do something in this world of like,
how do you not have an agent for the show? Like you could probably think of something for this show that would help our boy Payne out a lot.
Yeah, production is probably the next thing we get into. We utilize AI. Like StreamYard gives us clips today. I use Cowork to go scan the internet and help with the daily brief on the show docket. But to your point, there's so much more. And yeah, the production side is probably the next frontier for us. No pun intended, to head down. But yeah, man, appreciate you. It's going to be, and the good news about this is like every week's exciting in the world of AI. So really looking forward to these Monday segments. Appreciate you joining us and enjoy the rest. Hopefully we get Spud this week, and we'll have that on our docket next Monday.
All right. See you later, guys.
Thanks, man. Have a great one. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Thanks so much for everyone who joined the conversation. Shout out to Poppy and TMA for joining us. Shout out to Bunch as always. We'll be back tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Until then, have a wonderful, wonderful day, everyone.